Hey everyone, thank you for all your love and support for Victim No More over the last couple of years. We are preparing to launch an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign on September 13th to help raise money for Victim No More Part 2. Check out our teaser trailer.
This is not revenge. This is justice.
Hello. So here we are. We meet again. So yes, I'm seeing some people come up in the chat and go, I recognize some of those faces, and I'm not going to spoil who some of the faces are and some of the surprise people. Obviously, the ones in the trailers are not a surprise. But if you have a look on the Indiegogo for Victim No More Part 2, which is what we're discussing tonight, later on, Bob's going to join us, the director. We already spoke to him on the channel about Victim No More, the first one, which I'm going to show you a little ranking that I did of Friday the 13th fan films, because I started going down a bit of a rabbit hole of watching loads of them a while ago. And I really did enjoy watching a lot of these fan films because the quality of them has just grown exponentially, just massively since the sort of where people would make a little tribute on YouTube years ago. Now they're as good as a lot of other movies that I've seen, if not better. So this one is probably my favorite of the fan films, which is good because Bob's a great guy, and we're going to talk a lot about Bob later on. So just say hi to people in the chat who are in the chat at the moment. We've got about 10, 12 people watching over on X. If you're watching on X, thank you very much. If you share it out, that'd be fantastic. We'll get as many people to see Bob's trailer and film and discuss his Indiegogo campaign. The first film, Victim No More, recently got 100,000 views, which is pretty amazing. And yeah, it's one of the few that I've seen that is universally getting really good feedback from people, from critics, from horror websites, from people like that. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about that. So say hi to people in the chat. John H. Shelton is here, one of my favorite YouTubers, does so much cool stuff over in his channel, particularly his Godzilla things. We've got Thembo Cinema, great to see you here, fantastic, another fantastic YouTuber, and Flicks and Comics as well. So it's great to see you all. Let's give them a bit of a spotlight. And yes, some of these people you will know. Bob has many contacts in the Friday the 13th universe. In fact, if you've seen the Crystal Lake Memories documentary, a lot of Bob's footage is used in that because he had access to a lot of things that other people didn't, even people behind the scenes in Friday the 13th. So yeah, Bob has got, some really interesting people. I know that some of the cast hasn't been revealed yet. There's 2 grayed out bits on the Indiegogo. But I wanted to just show you the background before Bob comes on about why I like Victim No More, the first one. So I'm just going to show you a little video where I do like a little ranking. Now, there are so many, as you probably know, so many Friday the 13th fan films. It's and the fandom is massive for this film, and there's lots of films that are influenced by it. I don't know how you feel about. I loved In a Violent Nature. I thought it was really, really good take on that kind of thing. In fact, I thought there's probably a lot more to it than I initially thought there would be. I really did enjoy that one. But yes, I'm a big fan of the originals. My favorite being. Let's see if I can hold this up without messing up my green screen. But let's put it in front of me. There we go. Oh no, that's not going to work. Over here somewhere. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Here we go. Part 4 is my favourite of the series. So, Crystal Lake Memories and Never Sleep Again, is it called? The Freddy one's very good. I think that was the golden age of really long documentary films. Now I feel like we're on an endless cycle of similar ones, but those were really good. I think the Halloween one, the Freddy one, and I think Crystal Lake Memories is probably the best. However, I was very surprised by how good the RoboCop one was that I saw recently. I thought that was made really well. So let's. I will still be in the chat, but I'm just going to share with you now a little video I made. It's only a couple of minutes. I'm going to share with you the fan film ranking that I did. Now, obviously, there's so many, and some people are, well, what about this? What about this? And I felt a little bit of backlash. I was like, oh, okay, I've not seen all of them, so I can't, fairly say it's just just my opinion, in my humble. 13 Fanboy is a good one as well. But hey, Gareth, you see, some of them are great. I'll play the video, and if you guys have seen any of them or have got any other recommendations, I'll be in the chat. So I'm just going to share that for you for a moment, because I thought it'd be a good opportunity to share that with you. Let me see if I can make it full screen for you, because that would be nice, wouldn't it? And let's do that right now. Okay, let's go. Hey guys, so the strides made in fan films have started to outstrip some studio horror in recent years. So here's my top 5 Friday the 13th inspired fan films. So number 5 is Michael vs. Jason, Evil Emerges. It's created by Radical Talent Productions out of Australia on a 0 budget with some really cool crossover moments. You should check this one out. It's good fun. Number 4. After the success of their first fan film, Womp Stomp Pictures, they added a snowy version to the list. I absolutely love this concept. I love snow-based films.
And I hope that the next canon installment of Friday the 13th, they go this way too. This one is a little bit different because it stars Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis, which is great for the fans and shows how far fan films have come. Number 3, Brown Space Films have created a cinematic version that fits nicely alongside parts 5 and 6. It's probably the best fully realized movie on the list. It's a full-length movie. Plus, it has a larger budget than most Friday the 13th fan films. Friday the 13th Vengeance features Harry Manfredini's talents as well, the man who composed all the original music for Friday the 13th series. And also features the amazing talents of Steve Dash of Friday the 13th Part 2, Tom McLaughlin and CJ Graham of Friday the 13th Part 6, and a really great ensemble cast. Jason Brooks does a really good job as Jason Voorhees. Number 2 is probably the most famous one, Never Hike Alone. It's the first Womp Stomp version that gained millions of views and created a market for many. It's an original concept and well acted and shot. It feels a bit like Jason crossed with 127 hours. It's directed again by Vincente De Sante, and he wrote it alongside Nathan McLeod. But number 1 is Victim No More. Now, Victim No More is a Friday the 13th fan film by 3PD Films, written and directed by Bob Heckman. It's the most loving in approach and informed by a deep love of the original. It balances surprise appearances, a new story, and avoids drone shots and things that wouldn't fit the story as well. The acting is the best in the list, for my money, and Bob Heckman takes the time to keep the pace, but also allows scenes to be fully played out. The film sits best within the canon, for my money, and I love all the films in this list, but this one just a little bit more. Now, I've attached listings to each film in the description, and let me know if you think I've missed any. Also, follow the link in my live section for my interview with my winner, Bob Heckman. Thanks, and I'll see you at the lake.
And other than me sat gormlessly staring, watching my own video for the first couple of films, you were able to see 5 pretty good ones. And there are some really great ones that weren't even on my list. And if you go into my video on my channel, the one that I just showed you, you'll see all the other people who've posted loads of ones. Oh, I can't believe you missed that one. I can't believe you missed that one. But I would definitely say, those are the ones that stood out the most to me, certainly. And I think it's amazing, like in terms of the special effects and things like that. I'm not going to name names, but there's some other films that that people make via Indiegogos and Kickstarters that I've maybe put a little bit of money into as well. And I've thought, well, I can't see where this money is going. Well, one thing I know for certain, certainly with Victim No More, all of the money goes on the screen. So it's really worth checking them out. And while we were watching that little countdown video, we've been joined by some more fantastic YouTubers. I was on was it this time last week or a bit later last week? Subjective Perspective Collective. The guys over there were gracious enough to have me on talking about some British films from the 60s and 70s, and yeah, we had a really good time. So check out SPC. It's a really great channel. And also Cinephile Sanity. Oh man, Sean's like community tab is amazing, like the artwork, but like the depth of knowledge and the anniversaries of films that he does. You know, it reminds me, oh, that film's just he's got Shaun of the Dead coming up for the 20th anniversary. I'm so old, but yeah, the 20th anniversary of Shaun of the Dead. He's got things like that coming up. So yeah, check out Sean over at Cinephile Sanity TV. Absolutely fantastic channel. So we've got some really cool people here, and like I said, we've got Flicks and Comics as well. We've got Video Tasties, who we're arranging a few things coming up soon. Thembo Cinema and John H. Shelton, who are all been in the chat so far. And obviously, we've got loads of people joining us over on X. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. So I know it's crazy, isn't it? That people, Shaun of the Dead's fin. Yeah, it's crazy. That is just madness. Just makes me feel ancient. In fact, I watched Hot Fuzz last night. And it was never like a favorite. I appreciated it, but watching it now, like it really is a really good rewatchable film. There's so many small details in it that I missed, or you know, actors and people. Some of my favorite actors, like Paddy Considine's in it. But it's just a fantastic film. But anyway, back to Friday the 13th. Obviously, everyone was talking about Friday the 13th last Friday. There is another Friday the 13th in December, and I have made a special video for that. This time I did put a video up this Friday the 13th, which is of Crispin Glover, my favorite dancer from from everything really, but from Friday the 13th Part 4. And he's dancing with Nicolas Cage when they were younger in an advert, and I put that up on Friday the 13th. But also, there is, I've got something really special coming up this next Friday the 13th, which I think is I think it's in December. I think I just said that, didn't I? So let me just have a quick look and see what I've got lined up, because I know I've made something. I've just been making a lot of stuff. So let's see, has schedule. Let me just check my channel and see what's going on. So yes, I have made. Oh yeah, I've done a special comedy edit of a Friday the 13th crossed with somebody gave me an idea in the channel. Somebody who's a really cool subscriber to my channel, who has a really good comedy channel, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So my idea is to kind of put Jason with some very classic comedy, and I worked on that for quite a while. It's only short, but I'm really happy with it. So that'll be coming up on the channel. Obviously, Bob's going to join us in a little while. We're going to be talking about his Indiegogo for Victim No More Part 2, Loose Ends. Now, the thing about this was, I know Bob was really keen to only make this if people loved the first one and it got that kind of positive feedback, but also it got a good viewership. It recently hit 100,000. If you think compared to the budget, some of these have massive budgets compared to the other ones. I mean, that is insanely good. And also critically, it did very well. Now, like I mentioned earlier on, for those of you who joined me right at the beginning, Bob's an avid fan and has lots of friends and people within horror, but particularly within Friday the 13th. So a lot of his footage and a lot of his stuff was used in the Crystal Lake Memories documentary, which I know a lot of people have mentioned that in the chat. If you've not seen Crystal Lake Memories, check that out. So I'll give you a little overview. Bob is also associate producer on the up-and-coming, if it will get made by the people who made the RoboCop documentary, the Police Academy one. We did an interview about that recently, Bob and myself. And he's a really good student of the game when it comes to horror, particularly the older horror as well. Now, to kind of give Bob a bit of credit as well, one of the documentaries that I did, which was in search of recommendations, he recommended the film The Baby. Now, I know a lot of you in the chat and a lot of you who are watching this will have seen the film The Baby, and that is wild. So it gives you an idea of the kind of off-center stuff that Bob. He's also a massive Full Moon fan as well, and a massive Hammer fan. So yeah, we'll maybe get to talk about some of those as well. Bob has had parts in different things such as Ski Wolf and Blitzkrieg, Escape from Stalag 69, where I nearly got in a bit of trouble with YouTube by showing a clip of that. Stoinky Beach, Screamwalkers in 2024. He plays an officer in that, and like I say, he was on a TV series, did some cinematography on a TV series called It Crept from the 80s. Now, Victim No More is currently 6.8 on IMDb, if that's your jam. It's about 40 minutes long, and I really do appreciate the cinematography and the acting in it. It's not cheesy. It sits nicely with the first film, I think. He's got archived material for Crystal Lake Memories, and there's so much to talk about when we speak to him in a bit. Now, if you're watching right now, if you have a favorite Friday the 13th film in the actual series, if you're like me and you like, where is he? I've lost him. If you love this guy, Jason X, then you're in the right place. If you love the first one, I actually have really grown to love the second one recently, mainly because the chair's fallen apart. Mainly because I watched it for a podcast, and I realized how important it is for the lore of the rest of them, and how important Ginny is in the second one for building the story, building the character. There's a psychology there. The story makes sense. The third one, I like it okay. I know. Maybe I need to give that. I've watched it so many times, and I just kind of oh, cool. Bob's about to join. He's just sent me a message. But yeah, I think the third one is okay. I like that one. I'm not like, I think if you're a massive like Shelley fan, if you like Shelley, if you like his character, then maybe you'll like the film. 4, I love, is my favorite. 5, I like. 6, I like. And as I go further down, I really do try with Jason Goes to Hell. I find that quite a hard one. I know that a lot of people who are like writers and filmmakers that I've spoke to talk a lot about that one, but I feel it doesn't really feel like a Friday the 13th movie to me. Remember, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. Let's see who we've got. Hey, Shamalis has joined us. Shamalis Scott, and part 4. Yeah, Dirk's favorite, part 4 as well. I think it's just a really well-made film with some of the best actors, some of the most memorable characters. It's really fun. It's back with Tom Savini as well, so some really cool creativeness in there. 3 for me. Well, I only have one working eye, so 3D is not really my thing. But and again, I think 2 has grown on me. I like the I don't know, people who are ranking them on. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see, 4, 2, 6, 5, 1, 3, 7, 9, 8. Remake. See, I always forget the remake, and because that would be last for me, I think. And I understand why people don't like X, but I think it's a blast. Freddy versus Jason, again, I always forget that one when I'm doing my ranking, but that's pretty solid ranking, that, Dirk, I think. So we've watched about Victim No More Part 1. We've had a look at Bob's trailer for the second and the Indiegogo, but I think it's probably time that we had a chat with the man himself to find out all about his cast, his potential story ideas. He may not want to give too much away, and I certainly don't want to push him for spoilers. But yeah, this has literally only been live for a couple of days. This is exciting. So let's bring the man on himself. And here he is. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. We've just watched your trailer. It's a lot of people saying, "Oh, I recognize that face."
I
That's
forgot we're going live. This is live, huh? Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah.
I saw somebody put their ranking up there, so I was like, "Yes, okay." I forgot it was live. And all right, no, this is exciting. I actually prefer live because then you get, immediate questions and comments and things like that. So I could just, if somebody has a question that pops up, I could just answer right away.
Perfect, because you know the people who have joined us so far, a lot of the people have their own channels. They're real students of horror. They're really interested in this, and I think you were my gateway into the Friday the 13th fan films, Frankenstein Creed. And I was just saying what a Hammer fan you were as well, and
yes, I'm a huge Hammer fan, so I had to change shirts just for this. Yes, full moon fan. So yes.
Just like what a student of horror you are yourself. So a lot of people, let's 59 Survivor VHS, who's also in my documentary that I did along with you. Quite a few people actually in the chat, so it's good to see you. Yeah, we've got part 2 and 8. Okay, cool. 2 is getting a lot more love recently, I think. Yeah, So what would you for those of you who are just meeting you, maybe haven't watched our other interviews and haven't watched my ranking video, where I also showed that earlier on as well. That what got you into, what is it about Friday the 13th that really got you excited right at the jump?
Right at the jump, right at 7 years old. I think I was just immediately drawn to horror stories. In how the way they made me feel with sorry, something just popped up.
Oh, it was me. It was me just saying that. Sorry.
Oh, that was you?
It was me just saying like, yeah, we're all good.
Oh, on your phone. Okay. Yeah. But just how, being a lover of film, just in general, I love all genres. That I just liked how horror made me feel by atmosphere and suspense and the special effects at the time. You growing up watching all these Friday the 13th movies and Halloween and George Romero zombie movies and stuff like that. I just I was Creepshow, just Tom Savini. At 10 years old, I was like, Tom Savini's my hero. Which I guess a lot of people in their mid to late 40s or into their 50s even feel that way, growing up with the films that they did. I was immediately drawn into horror, and I absolutely love the genre. And Friday the 13th specifically was something that my friends and I shared, where they were just a lot of fun to watch in a group. You get a group of friends together and you're having fun watching these movies, like the silly characters.
So rewatchable, aren't they, as well?
The group of friends, yeah, and how Jason kills people and clever kills, and but I kind of like the soap opera continuing story aspect of it too, where one ends, the next one picks up after, and then you got the Tommy Jarvis trilogy of 4, 5, and 6, and and then it goes in from there where he's chained at the bottom of the lake, and then part 7 picks up from there and dealing with a whole other situation. And I love that continuing, ongoing story, and you looked forward to it every year. Because
you don't know, do you, how, because there's not a lot of forward planning when it comes to making the next movie. So it's more like somebody has it put in their lap, or Sean Cunningham's there with a writer or some, and they don't necessarily go, okay, so when they were making the first one, they weren't sat there going, so by the time we get to part 10, he's going to be in space, so I think it's fascinating, because like you say, from one to the next, some of them are quite linear and make sense. From the one before, and then some of them, it's like, how are we going to fix this thing because we thought it was done?
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of like that about the Friday 13th series. I always felt that way about more than any other franchise. It's more like, and I love Godzilla movies too. I always do the comparison of Jason and Godzilla, because Godzilla has 37 movies or something. And it's kind of like, well, what adventure is he on now? He emerges from the lake, or Godzilla emerges from the ocean, and it's like, what's he going to run into? How much damage is he going to do before he either goes back in the lake or the ocean? or in space, like, or like,
Yeah.
and and see what happens. He's kind of like the horror icon you can do anything with. After you get to like part 8 on or something, it's like, all right, he's going to Manhattan. All right, he's body hopping now. He's fighting Freddy, just like Godzilla had all of his versus movies.
Yeah, it's a big sandbox to play in, isn't it? It's like, what can
Yeah,
you do with
you could
narrative?
do
Where can we
anything with
send
them.
him?
Whereas like Michael and Freddy and even like Leatherface and his family or whatever kind of stick around their suburban area or like their town or something. It's like Jason, you could just do anything with. You just have fun
Yeah.
with Jason and what he could do, and and it got supernatural after part 6 anyway. So it's kind of like, well,
Yeah.
now anything's happened. Now he's fighting a psychic girl in the next one.
Well, I think you did something quite unusual with Victim No More that I think people really appreciated, which was it fits really nicely in with the first one. I think a lot of the Friday the 13th inspired films that I've seen on YouTube go the more where they don't necessarily think too much about the story, and they don't necessarily think as much about the lore and the sort of the going right back. Whereas
Right.
that's what I really appreciated about your first one, about Victim No More, was that. And I think people really attached it to it. And when did you think this is something I can do? Like, I'm gonna move from being like, because obviously you've always had a really big footprint in Friday the 13th fandom, the Crystal Lake Memories even used a lot of your footage, and
Yeah.
you know people within the film and the different films. But when did you think, I want to have a crack at this?
Yeah.
And
It was funny. I just had an interview before I came on here, and we were talking about how, you're saying like I know people. It's just funny to think like I was watching Friday 13th Part 5 at the drive-in with Amy Steele like 2 weeks ago. Like
that's mad.
we're just, she had never seen it before. She'd never seen most of them. She only seen like 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And I'm like, you're skipping over the best one, and we have to watch Part 5. Come on. But it was fun to do that anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what was the thing where you thought, I can do this too? You from being sat there watching the movies to actually, I'm going to make one.
Well, I mean, it was funny because my friends and I used to play Jason. Like that's what we'd call it. Like, let's play Jason. Like when we were kids, and we would just, I would dress up like Jason, or they would dress up like Jason, and we'd just, do the cat and mouse thing around the woods nearby. And,
Nice.
it's almost like playing tag or something, but it's like, all right,
Yeah.
Victim and Jason, you're just chasing, and you kind of just try to scare each other. And occasionally, like my friend Tommy and I, we used to like come up with stories. Like I remember, and we'd basically make a movie without cameras. We would just kind of act it out, and we'd pretend we're other characters within the movie, and somebody would be Jason, and we'd chase him around and around the house or the woods or whatever. We had a lot of fun. So we were kind of making fan films, but just without cameras. And then when we got cameras in like the mid 90s and shot our friends in the backyard doing stuff, we did make Friday 13th stories. I made a Chucky, movie. I never finished it, but we were making a Chucky fan film. I called it Child's Play 7.
Nice.
Because at the time they only did up to 3. So I was like, oh, I'm going to jump ahead in the story and do Child's Play 7. Little did I know there would be Cult of Chucky, which is the 7th Chucky movie.
Yeah, it never ends.
It never ends. And it goes right into the TV show. It's very consistent.
Yeah, I still need to see that TV series. I've heard only good things about it.
I think it's a lot of fun. The key there is it's the same writer since the first movie. So it's like,
right.
It's so consistent and fun and ridiculous. Of course, is just crazy, comical things that happen. um,
Yeah. I'm looking forward
but
to getting into it actually.
yeah, it's a fun series. But so I kind of always thought like, all right, when I one day I'm gonna make it'd be great to make a Friday 13th movie.
Mhm.
And then, as the years go on, life gets in the way and everything. You don't do anything of the sort. And I'm not somebody who's a filmmaker who wants to break into the industry or anything. I kind of looked at it as a hobby. I'm like, I just want to do a hobby. I don't care if I lose money making this. I personally just want to make myself happy and my friends
Yeah.
happy. If they enjoy it, great. Um,
Oh, that's awesome.
and if fans take to it and enjoy it, that's awesome. I can't, think of anything better. And the 90% of like just positive comments and stuff on YouTube
Oh
channel,
yeah,
everything has
and
been incredible.
yeah,
It
no,
was
and
so awesome.
IMDb is there's some
And
really great
top
reviews.
5 rankings of fan films that do and put me
That
at number
yeah.
1 is just incredible. I do want to reshare that too.
No, feel free. It's one of
I
those
also
where well, thank you for letting me kind of uh, getting into the fan films, because I'll be honest, there's some absolute terrible ones, and then there's some I never gave a chance. And because I gave your film a chance and loved it so much, I was like, oh well, that one's really good as well, and that one's really good. And
Yeah,
some of them made in Australia, and some of them are made in
Germany. Yeah.
yeah, all over the place, and they're just and so different. And that's what I tried to do with that top 5. And I think
Mhm.
the reason yours was number 1 was because of that attachment to the original film, and I could really feel the love for the storytelling in it. Whereas the other
Yeah.
ones, some of them, the special effects are amazing, and if you watch, I'm really trying not to say other films that to compare them to, but like
That's
other films
okay.
that are not Friday the 13th fan films, just
Right.
mainstream films that haven't got special effects as good, or costumes as good, or acting as good. So it really did open my eyes
Mm.
to the quality of some of these. And
Yeah.
some of those people now as well.
Yeah, I do. And like one that really opened my eyes when I was trying to think of like, should I do like an original film or should I do a fan film, Friday 13th? Um, and I was kind of getting pulled in that direction of Friday 13th, is when I saw Never Hike Alone. And I saw the quality of how that was made and
Yeah.
the acting and everything. And I was like, you know what? He did a great job. And with my connections of the people that I know and my kind of like cult celebrity, friends that I have, I'm like, maybe I can do something kind of special here, and make it a short film. So, so I kind of came up with the story, like, and it was kind of quick how I came up with it. And then I reached out to Catherine Mary Stewart from Last Starfighter and Weekend at Bernie's, Night of the Comet, and other. I'm really great friends with her, and I said, "Hey, you want to come on board and help me make this movie, and I'll let you direct some scenes." And she absolutely loved the idea, and she had so much fun. We had a lot of fun making the movie, and she kind of mentored me on the set too, in different
That's
ways.
awesome.
Great.
And she's involved in Victim No More 2.
Yes. Yep.
I see the cast list, and there is also 2 surprise cameos. Obviously, I'm not going to say who are the surprise cameos because that's the whole point of a surprise.
No,
But
yeah, I'm not gonna. Well, I still once I there's 2 people that are interested in being in the film. Um, One is a Friday 13th alumni, somebody who's been in the movies, the original Paramount movies.
right,
And the other surprise cameo is actually a Nightmare on Elm Street alumni. So,
ah,
so I won't say who they are, but
no,
and she's very interested in being in the movie too. And there might be a second Friday 13th alumni that I got to reach out to and find out if he would be interested in being in it.
Ooh.
So
That's definitely an exciting development. So I'm really interested in that. Is that something that I'm not going to keep fishing, but in terms of looking at the Indiegogo, I'd imagine it's, we've only been going a couple of days and it's going really well. People are interested, people are excited. Is it a case of you're going to open up more and more information as you get further down the timeline, kind of keep people.
As soon as I get information of like, oh, so and so wants to be involved, and they give me a confirmed yes, I will announce it immediately. It wasn't like the first Victim No More, where I kind of wanted to keep the cameos a surprise. Which if I didn't keep them as a surprise, we probably could have generated more to the funding of the film.
Yes.
Like if I said, oh, Amy Steele and Kimberly Beck were involved in the film, two final girls from the original franchise are involved. Like if I said that from the get-go, we probably could have made like Never Hike Alone money and made $100,000 like over the week, but I wanted to keep those like little cameos or voice cameos. Like,
it's so much fun as well.
Yeah, because it was a fun surprise at the end of Never Hike Alone to see Tom Matthews just pop up. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that. So
the quality of what you're doing, that's how you would try and do it if you were doing it as a sort of studio film. You wouldn't be going out telling people, oh, by the way, this surprise cameo is going to be this person.
Just like Deadpool. Like Deadpool kept those cameos like such a secret, and it's like, oh my God, when they do show up, the whole audience starts cheering, and you get wrapped up in, like, I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And I think as well, I think that goes to the sort of the professional approach that you've had to it. I've got the DVD, Blu-ray here for the original, signed by your good self, which is very, very kind of you. And I just love the quality of everything, whether it's the beanies, whether it's the badges, the things that people will get for being part of this film, as well as getting to see and being part of, making a really loving tribute and continuation to the last one. They get a lot, don't they? The perks. Should we get it up on the screen and have a look at some of the?
I mean, in reference to the perks, I really try to give the best quality perks. I'll pay the extra money to get like good T-shirt brand and good beanies and pins, everything. There's the cast scrolling by.
We'll go back and have a look at the cast in a moment, I think.
Oh yeah, I put a little strip of like a bunch of the like little perks and pictures and stuff.
Oh, it's here. I'm always terrible with how Indiegogo works.
It's on the side.
I've been scrolling the wrong bit.
So, oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, because you're in the UK, it has the pounds.
Oh yes, yeah. You were thinking what?
Yeah, I was like,
what's going on? What's this funny money?
So 15 pounds is $20 American. That's what it is.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's
the only bummer
you're not getting ripped off.
Yeah, the only bummer about being international is that you got to pay an extra like $10 for it to ship. So it's like, you're paying like $50 for the Blu-ray, and
Oh man, when I used to get all my Region 1 stuff back when DVD was first starting out and all the best stuff was on Region 1 and you couldn't get it in the UK. The amount of shipping that I used to pay. And obviously now that's the same from places in Europe as well, because of the kind of restrictions with Brexit. So it's not much changes, except that now I'm used to it from all buying things from the USA. Now it's just if I buy something from Spain or Germany, it's just the same.
Yeah, I mean, some of the packages that I have to send to UK or Germany or wherever, like it would cost me like $45-50, and like, so I definitely like lose money when it comes to like sending out the perks when it's overseas.
So we've got Blu-rays, beanies.
Yeah, I tried to
T-shirt.
think of like some names for the perks. Like I put loose ends teed
Jarvis
up.
sandwich.
So
I like
a
the
Jarvis sandwich.
Jarvis sandwich.
I put teed up, like loose ends tied up. So it's a T-shirt.
I get it. I'm
A
not
new
clever.
beanie would
It
be
takes
like a
me a
new
while.
beginning. Yeah.
You're all doomed. Crazy
We're all
Ralph. That was just
doomed.
mentioned. I mean, he was just mentioned in the chat.
Well, you're
was
all
one of the
doomed
favorite.
because that's the perk where you can get like used weapons, used on-screen weapons that we use. So the whole film enchilada includes that Scream Factory Friday 13th box set.
Oh wow, that is a good
Blu-ray
set.
box
As well.
set, and it'll include Victim No More 1 and 2 and other things.
And you could even be part of the sort of the
We got a
crew,
super
the
random
executive producer.
number. Look at those producer like numbers.
Yeah.
Because here, associate producer is 500, but
Yeah.
over there, 381. It's like what? Where the co-producers co-producers 1,000, and executive producer 2,000.
Oh man,
But
it's like Bob. You know me and maths not great. It's like me with time. With time conversion, and it's the same with money.
Yeah, exactly.
To know more, that slogan rocks. It does, doesn't it? It's a really cool. How did you come up with that idea to call the original film "Victim No More"? What was that with you right from the beginning?
I'm trying to remember. You know what? I think I came up with it looking at that famous Spider-Man comic that says Spider-Man No More. It's like issue. I think it's like issue 50 or something of the original Spider-Man comics. But there's a famous thing where like Peter Parker's walking away and leaving the Spider-Man suit in the trash and says Spider-Man No More. So I think it kind of clicked. That might have been the origin of how I came up with the title.
It fits really well.
Yeah, and because it's dealing with victims and trauma and things like that. I said, you know what, I'm going to call this movie Victim No More. It's a kind of a strange title.
No, I think it was.
People kind of took it as, oh, Jason ran out of victims. You know, they thought that was what the movie was about, and they didn't like that title, or it had a couple of interesting reactions. But
well, it's better than no reaction at all. You know, which I always think is, you know, you want to have something that gets people asking questions. It's hard naming films when there's been so many different, you know, like, I mean, look at the actual, you know, canon films. We're talking number 4 is the final one.
Yeah. The next one's A New Beginning.
Yeah. So
I love
if you're
yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's so funny how, you know, you've got to kind of look at the titles and almost dig yourself out of holes with the previous titles. It's like if you call it's like that's why I quite like Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2, you know, like
yeah.
I like things like that. I mean, we had a great chat about Police Academy a while back, and I'm a big fan of like Assignment Miami Beach or Citizens on Patrol, you know, like these make me feel like take me right back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if like every Marvel film had to do that, and they all had to be like part of the one before? So like, say what we're talking, the first of like what the Iron Man one, like Endgame would be like Iron Man Part 17 or something. Like the very final chapter.
Yeah, for the Marvel movies, they came up with pretty good titles. They didn't just, you know, add 2 or 3 next to the title or something.
But if you do that, like Rocky and Friday the 13th, you know, you've got that choice of Roman numerals. The thing with Friday the 13th, it has a number in the title to start with, so it's a lot of numbers for people.
Yeah, totally. And Victim No More's will, you know, I plan on like whatever the title is will go above, and then Victim No More, like Loose Ends, Victim No More Part 2.
I like
And
Loose Ends as a title. That's really cool.
yeah,
Was that in your mind when you were making the first one?
that actual title I came up with before the first Victim No More. But it had nothing to do with Friday the 13th or Jason. It had to do with a different anthology idea that I had. For like a creep show kind of anthology that I would create eventually. And it was a couple of different titles, and then the last one I remember it being Loose Ends. And then because of how the first Victim No More ends, I was like, oh, Loose Ends is a perfect title for the next movie, because you kind of want to see how these things tie up, or the backstories of some of the survivors that you see show up at the end. Rocky 5,000 Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Rocky 5,000. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's like Back to the Future, isn't it? With the Jaws, with Spielberg's son
19.
directing it. Yeah, yeah.
Jaws 19. But yeah, I
love
thought
that.
Loose Ends would be like a perfect title for what we were doing, because a lot of these characters, the Survivor Squad women and other characters, that they'll talk about their trauma, and we'll get to see some of their backstories in segments. So, and you'll see like not all of them like have a happy resolution or anything like that. So they're loose ends that are part of their lives that they got to live with.
Right, right.
But yeah, I love titles like that, and eventually I do want to make a Victim No More 3 and kind of wrap up a trilogy, and then move on.
Please don't do it in 3D, because I won't be able to watch it. I can't see 3D. So
oh, okay. It will not. I promise you, it will not be in 3D.
Because I know that's very selfish of me to say that.
No, but you'll love what I'm going to do with the third movie, because if we could take a moment and talk about the third movie that hasn't even happened, because we have to raise money to make the second movie. But the third and final movie will, I want to give kind of an homage, a nod to Hammer films. And it'll be like my Frankenstein Jason story.
That is
so
awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to kind of shoot it in a way of like those old Hammer films, and like it'll be a little bit more crisp, because I'm sure we're going to use 4K cameras and everything. But I want to tell my version of a Frankenstein Friday the 13th Jason story. So
that sounds perfect.
And everything that I have to say about Friday the 13th, and especially continuity and timelines and everything like that, will be kind of told as best as I can in that final part to wrap up everything. Like even like kind of weird holes that might fall into the Friday 13th original franchise will kind of be little tied up a little bit cleaner in this trilogy.
Nice. So one thing I appreciated about the first one, which I'm sure will be replicated in this one, is that the characters are not they're very well fleshed out. There's certainly a lot of strong female characters, and you talked a little bit when we spoke last time about finding those actors, particularly the ones who people might not be as familiar with, and then fitting in so well with the story. There's a moment in the first one where it took me in a completely different direction, where I was like, initially I thought this was it was going to go a certain way, and then the characters started, they weren't like being really meta or kind of snarky or clever or whatever, but they were in the moment, and they weren't stupid. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I like this. I like where this is going. So how difficult is it to build on that? Because I think a lot of people, the comments I see, people receive the acting and the story really well. And obviously, I'd imagine the cast is going to get bigger for this one.
Oh, yeah. it's
It looks like it from the pictures.
massive compared to the first movie, where we're just kind of following three people around, Robbie and then the couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is because we're dealing with 4 short stories and a wraparound story, so the cast is way bigger. And like you see in the trailer, there's a support group meeting scene. So there's like a group of like 12 or so people that are, I mean, talking, and we'll get to see. Yeah, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters, and
So are most of the people that you
hopefully-
brought together you found in New York and New York area, people
Oh
you knew
yeah, like
already, people from obviously people from that you've worked with before, but also friends, and obviously like Jill Whitlow's been in like some big films as well.
right.
She was in Weird Science. That's correct, isn't it?
She was Weird
Um,
Science. Night of the Creeps is her
Night of the Creeps. Yes,
big
yes.
claim to fame. But Weird Science, Porky's is her first movie that she was in.
Awesome.
She did this horror film, Twice Dead, in the late 80s. It's pretty cool, and I hope a lot of people will come across that one day and check it out. It's a cool little horror film. Yeah, she kind of stopped acting around 1991 or 92 or something, and then she wanted to get back into it a little bit. So I said, well, you got to be in Victim No More because we're friends. There's Jill right there.
There we go.
But she's just become an awesome friend over the last like 10, 12 years. And she lives in Florida. That's where she grew up. And she moved back there after her little time in Los Angeles acting. And yeah, she's happy there. And yeah, but mostly the cast is Long Island, New York actors. A lot of theater actors, people that are just really into making films. A lot of these actors, like I see Dino Castelli, he's a director in his own right. He's an actor. He was a first AD on my film. So he really wanted to be in the movie. And I said, all right, I have a great role for him. I hope people will really enjoy his character. And then there's Glenn McBride Jr., who's, writes these great like comedy short films and puts them in the festivals all over Long Island and other places. And he just recently starred in my cinematographer's film Screamwalkers.
I saw you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have posted about it and you've seen it, but I helped come up with the story of that. He wrote the script, and with a couple of other friends and everything, they came up with the concepts, and it's just a fun 90s style shot on video movie, low budget movie, and we had a lot of fun doing it because it's
you
kind
act in that as well, don't you? I think
it's kind of fun to take a step back and not have to worry so much about like perfect lighting and shooting in 4K and making every take 4 hours to do like one particular shot and make everything look great. It's kind of like, this is a nice little breather. Like, let's make this quick, fun horror film. And
I love that kind of thing. I mean, obviously now there's a bit of a renaissance, and they sort of sell on the the boutique labels for quite a lot. Ones from the 90s. So, for example, one of my favorite ones, I don't know if you've seen, is Slaughter Day.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I just think that's so well made for just like it's two, I think, Hawaiian kids with a video camera. You literally can hear them saying, "Okay, stop there," in one of the parts.
Go.
Yeah, but go. The special effects and essentially it's Bill and Ted meets Evil Dead. I think
I'm watching that film this Saturday at Sean's house. He can't. I think he's doing a movie marathon. We're watching a bunch of trashy shot on video movies or something. Is that the one where like there's people just beating the hell out of each other in the woods?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I
Like
think that's it.
jumping off like sort of
Yes.
mud
Yes.
piles and
I've seen that. Like
yeah.
it was like a trailer or something.
It's it's available to rent on Prime, but also I think I don't think it's Vinegar Syndrome, but it's one of those guys.
Yeah.
You can get hold of it, and it is one of my most fun films. Obviously, some people have watched it with me and gone like, "Oh, that's terrible." I was like, "I know, but it's so lovable and so much fun
Yeah.
and wacky and creative and just like not boring." And I think sometimes not boring is underrated when it comes to film choices, because like you could go and watch, I don't know, say just picking a film like Eternals or something, and be like, this is 3 hours long, it looks very nice, and then at the end go, okay, so tell me something that happened. Whereas Slaughter Day, we've literally just said 3 amazing things that happened in that film.
Yeah.
And it cost about $200.
I completely understand what you're saying.
So I guess the budget and things like that, everything, like I said before, what I like about your film, the first one, and I'm sure it'll be the same in the second, is everything that goes into the funding, you see it on screen. This is about you making a labor of love, like you said, you to a certain degree losing money on some of these things.
I'm definitely not making any kind of money at all on these. I am definitely losing money for sure. I've never recouped what I lost on the first movie. I'm probably.
How gratifying is it then to sort of have that, positive feedback from people and that 100,000 people watching it and all that good stuff?
That makes up for any amount of money, that I might lose. All their positive feedback, and if it makes them smile and they have a good time for 40 minutes watching the movie and whatever, like I don't care that I lost, more than $10,000 making the film. Like it's whatever. If it's bringing smile and joy to somebody, especially Friday 13th fans, if they really dig it and have fun with it, then that's great. And and now I'm about to try to raise money to make the sequel, which is a feature-length movie, which is supposed to be double the length of the first movie. I'll probably lose double the amounts, like in the end. But whatever. It's like people love it. Just this past weekend, I was in Blairstown, New Jersey they had a big Friday 13th event. Blairstown is where they shot the original Friday 13th and where we shot a couple of scenes from Victim No More. And it was great. There was, people that we had no idea that loved the movie that came over to our table and told us that they enjoyed it. And, they spent money on like a Loose Ends t-shirt and help bring money, that we could put towards the project. So it was awesome. There was a cosplayer there that, dresses up like Jason, and he dressed like our Victim No More Jason. So we got a bunch of pictures. I just posted all those photos today, I think, this morning.
That's really nice.
So yeah, check those out. Like, so there's James Taffarelli, who played Jason, standing next to his Jason, and he was happy to not be in that costume again.
I guess making the film.
Full length.
People are saying like,
right.
Full length, yeah.
Well, it has to be a full length movie, because if we're telling like 4 short stories with a wraparound story, like an anthology film is supposed to be, then there's no way it could be 40 minutes long unless each story is 5 minutes. Which they're pretty fleshed out, like 15 to 20 minute, stories. So it will probably be, I want it to be under 90 minutes though. So if something gets cut, then it gets cut. But like, Yeah, sometimes low budget horror movies that go over 90 minutes can be a little struggle to sit through, especially if it's like, well, we talked about it, full
Yeah.
moon
Oh,
movies.
so
Like I love full moon, especially old school full moon movies, but in recent years, in the last 10 years or so, what full moon has been putting out, sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, they have budgets that are bigger than Victim No More, but paced so slowly and so like it takes place in two locations and it's just nothing but like dialogue that's repeated over and over again, and it could be, you know, thank god most of them are like 70 minutes long, but like,
yeah.
and I always watch them because I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a
You're in
sucker.
for the long haul.
I'm
Yeah,
in
you're in
for
for
a
the
long one
long
because
haul.
I've seen a couple of good ones in recent years too. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed like Dr. Death. It was like a 1 hour Puppet Master spin-off movie, and I'm like, oh, this kind of flowed by really quick, and it was 60 minutes, and it was easy to
Yeah.
digest, and you know, but
Yeah,
sometimes always
some of
making movies where
new
like people just
the new
talking in a
Charles
room.
Band directed
Yeah,
ones. They sound pretty cool as well. Like I've not checked them out yet, but they sound a little bit more like something he loves rather than like a money making exercise. So that's promising.
yeah.
I out of all the full moon stuff, I'm a massive like Ted Nicolau fan, and
Mm.
from Empire, all
Oh,
and all
love the
and
subspecies movies.
oh
Subspecies
well,
movies are so good, so
Larry,
atmospheric,
who is
so good.
on the screen below, is a massive subspecies
Oh,
fan, and
cat daddy! I'm a cat daddy
I
too. Actually, my cat's laying right in front of me on the table.
there you go. Like minds. And also, like I say, massive subspecies. I've got an interview with Ted coming up about subspecies specifically and working in
Oh,
Romania.
nice.
And obviously, the last time I spoke to him, I just bent his ear about Terrorvision because it's one of my all-time favorite films.
That's a great movie. I have that
So,
on the shelf.
oh, so good. But in terms of like, you've already talked a little bit about unusual inspirations. So if you're going to make a third one, there's going to be a Hammer, Frankenstein kind of thing. It is obviously. Are you for Victim No More 2 looking specifically at the first Friday the 13th film and the history of that, or are you kind of tapping into some other little Easter eggs and information from some of the other films? Because there's such a well to
Oh
pick
yeah.
from, or is it just going to be a very much a standalone story of your own
Well, I
devising?
really wanted to try to kind of copy the look of those first two Friday 13th movies with the first Victim No More. And I saw a couple of people say like, "Oh, it reminds you." Well, you said it. It reminds you of the original Friday 13th. Probably because it was shot on the East Coast, and like those woods look like the same kind of woods that are in those first two movies. It's the East Coast of the United States, New Jersey,
Like
New
the
York,
burning and sleepaway
Connecticut.
camp and
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp is way upstate New York, and like the burning, yeah, they all kind of have a look and feel of a certain type. So I kind of wanted to try to make that first movie like feel like the first couple of Friday 13ths. Even like those like point of view shots are very reminiscent of those movies. Not use drone shots like you so lovingly pointed out. Because I think drone shots, I mean, they're great. I mean, they look
they can be.
they look really good, but I feel like in Friday the 13th world, like we should keep things on the ground because none of those like 12 movies have helicopter shots. I mean, they have
Totally.
they have one kind of helicopter shot in the beginning of the final chapter, but it was really just, on a crane just shooting down at the police cars and everything. And then there's a shot of the helicopter, but like there's no like drone shots making everything look gorgeous and pretty over a town and lake and everything. And it's just like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep it all
Yeah, because it's a drone. I think my issue is not necessarily that it looks bad or anything like that. Like you said, I think it's just that there's maybe you just think, oh look, a drone shot. Like it takes you out of the moment a little bit. And I also think
Yeah, it's
that
overused too.
yeah, yes, exactly. I think it might just be that it's a little bit overused now, and we have these toys, and every and there's multi-million pound directors who like using different toys and doing certain things, but whatever you've got to hand. But I guess restraint and having a little bit of restraint, or sometimes just having limitations of not having tons of money,
Right. It makes you look like you have. Yeah, the drone shots always make it seem like you have a bigger budget than you do. So sometimes when you start off a movie with drone shots and these beautiful looking, aerial, with the horizon, the mountains, and they look amazing. But then when we get down to like the actors having a conversation and stuff like that, it almost looks like it's a different style of a movie.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
choppy. Yeah,
Yeah,
very choppy.
like, well, I wanted to keep it very like consistent on, keep it on the ground.
Yeah.
In
Well,
ways.
do you know what? That's proven within a violent nature as well. Like it all, or I absolutely love it, but
I really
people
like it. Yeah.
who don't like it, I love it. They're talking about it, and that's very much on the ground, and feels very enclosed. Obviously, it doesn't feel like New York or it feels like Canada. I'm not sure if it's filmed in Canada, but it feels like Canada.
I think it was.
Right, okay, that's probably why. Then.
I'm not positive.
But yeah,
I'm
not. I should have checked before I said that, really. But I think it feels like nature is a character in the film, and it is, and nature is very dangerous for anyone who wanders off somewhere. And I live near a mountain rescue, and there's people who go off on a walk up a mountain, and then the mountain rescue's out finding them because they weren't prepared or they didn't understand what they were up against. And constantly, it's always happening. And all the people nearby to me, get really frustrated. But having nature, it's quite interesting, isn't it, to have that as you feel trapped. You don't feel trapped when you can see above. A bird's eye view is the first place you go to see where everything is, so if you're safe or not. But if you can't have a bird's eye view, then you're trapped.
Right. Yeah. No, it's smart. I think it's smart to stay as close to the character that you're focused on. Like the kid running around at the end of my movie. It's like you don't know what he's going to run into. If he's going to run into the cabins area where the couple got killed, or he's going to run back to the lake area. He's just lost running in the woods until he comes to the
The only other option is, instead of Crazy Ralph, you have a crazy drone, and just a drone that flies around telling people they need to. I'm happy to play the character of Crazy Drone for you if you
Crazy Drone. I just need your voiceover.
Yeah, I'll just be like, I'll do like a Johnny Five kind of voice for it.
Yeah. Your mother was a snowblower.
So yeah, I guess in space there'll be no space references in this one then.
But no, there's no Jason X references, I don't think, in the movie just yet. That could change. No, but getting back to answering your question, so the first movie I tried to feel like the first and second one, that kind of feel of but also in modern day. But the second movie will kind of be consistent in the look of most of the stories. Just because I kind of have an idea of like, and me and Sean kind of click on the look of the film, but we're also going to like experiment and go different ways with say lighting and atmosphere in some of the stories. And one thing that's going to be different is that there is going to be nighttime scenes, and so and possibly rain and a storm in like one of the segments, and weird dream sequences that can kind of have like a nice little you saw in the trailer, there's like a a woman on the beach, and like there was a little girl that puts her hand on her shoulder in the teaser trailer. So
Yes.
that's kind of like a dreamy kind of sequence. So, Sean kind of put like a filter on there or a lens to give it that kind of cloudiness. So we're gonna definitely experiment and kind of like put our own, thing on it.
Sounds like fun. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, you'll have learnt things from the first one as well that you want to repeat, and I imagine there's little things that maybe only you notice that you don't want to repeat. Other people probably haven't even noticed it, but you will have gone,
right.
"I'm
Oh
going to
yeah,
do this again. I'm not going to do that again," or I am definitely need to remember to do that again.
right. Yeah, no, there's definitely things that I would have changed if I was in the right state of mind on certain days. Which I'm
Stressful situation as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's very stressful, but it's a fun stress because you're making a movie, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fun when
you
like,
can see
you
the
know,
results.
yeah, and sometimes things don't go the way you want, but sometimes they could turn out better than what you expected. Or what you've been envisioning like for a year before that. Like, sometimes we get there and there's things that make us have to change, angles and situations, or maybe the way an actor is going to say something comes out differently. So it's like you're always, you're making magic, you're making movies, so things just it always changes from page to actually filming it. So
Mhm.
and you learn as you go. So I'm definitely prepared for changes to come while we're, after we start shooting.
Yeah, that you've got to be kind
For
of ready
better,
for
for
anything,
better or
I
for
suppose.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But first things first. Indiegogo campaign. We got to raise this money so we could make the movie next spring. Next spring is the time that we really
So
want to start shooting.
the deadline is well, there's 58 there's
Hey
50.
everyone.
Oh, there you are. Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, I won't leave you on. I don't. You probably don't want to be
I
staring
don't
at
want to look
yourself.
at
So let me.
myself.
Oh, you might do. You might just be very, very.
Put a picture of the lake
You know,
there. That's a nice
uh,
shot of the lake. There you go.
yeah. Let's get a nice picture on. There we go.
There you
Beautiful.
go.
And it is
And we got
beautifully
those
shot.
guys
It really.
kayaking. That was kind of cool. It's like I'm glad
I kind of
they
want to.
weren't pissed off about us filming, but
Well, if you ever do a showing where people, a bit like they do with the Jaws screenings, where you're like on a dinghy watching it on a big screen or whatever,
well, that's
or
cool.
like or in a camp, like they do at some of the sleepaway camp. I know that Jeff Hayes does at the sleepaway camp
Mhm.
events. If you're ever doing one of those for Victim No More, I'll come along, unless I'm too scared or I can't afford to fly
You
to
got to
America.
come to the States. Come hang out. Have you ever been here to the
No,
United States?
no, never, no.
All right,
It's
then make the
it would
trip
be
out.
cool.
Of
Yeah,
course, you
man.
could stay here in New York. So I live 20 minutes away from the Amityville Horror House, so we could just, that
Oh
could be one
wow.
of the touristy things you
There
could
we
do.
go, man. Well, I could start going around going like I'm walking here and stuff like that. I could
Yeah,
like
yeah, you could do
yeah.
your best New York accent. Um,
and get deported.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, it says 58 days left, but I'm sure we're gonna,
Just keep going.
past our goal, which is 13,000. So we can get to those stretch goals,
Yeah.
20,000, 30, 40, just keep going so we could like raise as much money as we can to make it. If we don't hit
Yeah.
13,000, like this movie's not happening. So everybody check out the perks, see what you like, and
Oh, for
help us
sure. I
help us
mean,
make this fun the first Friday the 13th feature length anthology film, or fanthology film. One would say.
fanthology. I like it. I like that. I'm gonna try and remember that. So in terms of the different things, there are things that people can do to show support, much like there's the thank you. There's
Mhm.
there's different kind of levels here, and that's what I do like about these. And yes, of course, there are so many people, now who use this as their primary way of making films. But I think what makes this difference is this is very much a fan film. This isn't a money making endeavor, and everything that every penny will be seen on the screen. And I think it's really important to reiterate that. And I would say as well, if people are not sure about what they want to do, then they need to go and watch the first one. And then they will be sure. And that's in my opinion. And I'm not getting, Bob's not paying me to say this.
Yeah, the quality will be just as good, if not way better. Like I said, the more money we make, the better the quality, the better production, the better everything. So it'll look and feel like a really, legit fun movie. So horror movie.
Yeah. And another little insider tip, and I don't know if this is a bit naughty thing to say, and please, I'll edit out later. But if I'm a bit naughty about saying this, is on Indiegogo, sometimes you'll put something in a price and you'll go, that's not the price. There is a section that says Indiegogo tip. Now, you don't have to put anything in that. Bob doesn't get that money.
No, I don't get that movie. So, that's up to you, but I would put 0. Yeah. So, unless you're, I love Indiegogo and I love how it works and operates. And what Indiegogo did for the first film, which was amazing, I thought, was when we launched the campaign for the first film, it was the beginning of 2020. The campaign ended on March 11th, or I guess you would say 11 March. Is that what you said?
11th of March, yeah,
11th of March.
I won't get upset.
I know things. Either way, March 11th, which was 2 days before the COVID hit in the United States. Right. So the campaign ended 2 days before COVID started. And then once that started, and then I got the money to, create
that's a notification that I've just put my money where my mouth is. On the campaign. So
oh no, I'm so happy. You might be contributor number 14. You just missed number 13.
Oh man, I want it back.
But what was amazing what Indiegogo did was that I think because of that time, March of 2020, if you had a project, they keep a certain percentage of what you raise. I think it's 5% of whatever the total is.
Thanks, Andy.
But what they did is they gave me the rest of that 5% back because they knew people were struggling. So Indiegogo, at the time of COVID, I think gave back the rest of what they're supposed to take.
Out of what
you made. They said, we know everybody is struggling, and here's the rest of the money. So 2 days later, whatever the rest of the money was, it was 1,000 and something. They just gave, so they fully funded, they gave the rest of the money back. It was great. I was just like, oh my God, I am an Indiegogo fan. I will continue to use Indiegogo until it's not around anymore, but wherever the next thing is. But if you want to give a certain percentage to Indiegogo just because it seems like their heart was in the right place at that time.
That's a good point. I didn't know that. I didn't know that because
5 if you got it.
Well, as you know, I was doing a charity screening for a cancer charity here in the UK, and it was with Just Giving, and they have a similar thing where they have fees or a little, tip that goes to the thing. And somebody donated to the charity thing, and they messaged me very angrily that that this automatic tip had come in, and I said, well, I can't do anything about that. I can only make, assure you that, that the money that you donated is going to a very good cause. So thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. If it
Um,
says automatic tip and they already put a number in there, just go in there and make
yeah,
it 0 if you don't want to tip.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's very easy to use, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's easy. It's
does it
easy
have
when you know.
PayPal and stuff? Does it have like? I mean, I haven't looked at it, so you just did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, I just did it while we were chatting because I thought there's no point me saying, "Oh, yeah, do this, guys," and then I haven't done it. Um,
So,
so
are you able to choose credit card and just
yeah,
pop
you
in
can use Apple.
PayPal or
You can
Venmo or
use
anything? Not Venmo.
yeah, anything. There's like a range of different things you can use to pay. Apple Pay and then I think Venmo and PayPal and all kinds of. Yeah, they make it very easy for you to pay, and then they put like a little picture of it. You get a little picture of a dog saying thank you,
Okay.
which makes it all worthwhile.
Well, thank you so much for contributing.
That's all
I
right,
owe
man. Thank you
you,
for
I
making
owe
the
you a
film.
thank you, a shout out on social media.
That's
So,
okay.
thank
I mean, you've done
you.
that You've done that loads of times anyway over the the last year or so since we've been friends. So don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Yeah.
And seriously, like what you just sent. Um, yeah, I know it says it's $13 US. Yeah. So $13 you just sent. And like, you know what? That helps with a meal on set. That helps,
Mhm.
you know, it helps so much with something, you know. Hello, whoever that was.
Hi, Liv. That was Liv. That was Liv with
Liv.
Style Rewind. Yeah, she's amazing. We've got so many people in the chat that I haven't mentioned already. It's great to see Liv. And yeah, she's got a fantastic channel and a fantastic taste in movies. I would go say she's the kind of person that would probably watch Slaughter Day with us because, yeah, she's got that kind of taste in films. We've got Andy's Cardboard Star Wars. We've got 59 Survivor VHS. Oh my word, Horror Cat
Yeah,
Dad,
March
as you
11th
know.
for UK. I saw it too.
Oh yeah, he gave us a
Yeah,
little
so
bit of
that was the
info about.
day. That was the exact day the campaign ended for the first movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
We've got Mike,
no
the real Fifth Beatle, with his
What's
Jason
up?
Voorhees, Mike's
CJ Graham.
awesome. He has lots of good stuff on his. Yeah, well spotted. That was quick as well. I only flashed that up. We should do a quiz. If we did a quiz, you'd be the winner of it, I think. My brain has gone to mush. And like I mentioned earlier on, subjective, perspective, collective.
Oh, yeah,
They cover.
let me see that ranking. I want to see that ranking right there. All right, we got the same top three: 4, 2, and 6. Not in that
I think
order, but mine's 4, 2. But
mine's
oh my
4,
God, it's
4,
very
2,
close.
and X. Mine's 4, 2, and X.
4, 2, and X is your favorites?
Yeah.
God.
4, 2, X, and 1. Yeah.
That's the thing about Friday 13th fans. We always have completely different rankings. I love it.
We got flicks and comics. Like I say, subjective
Hot Fuzz.
perspective. We got Hot Fuzz. We were talking about a bit earlier on. I was talking about Sean's channel, Cinephile Sanity, and on there he often talks about anniversaries of films, and it's 20 years of since Shaun of the Dead coming up. Which is crazy. That's crazy.
They put it back in theaters here and there.
Oh wow! I mean, it makes me feel very, very old.
Actually, the final chapter's in theaters right now.
Oh, is it?
So,
yes, because Dirk went to see it. One of the guys in the chat went to see it. Yeah, 13 fanboy. Gareth was talking about over on Video Tasties. Thembo Cinema was on earlier on. Yeah, I think I've covered everybody who's joined. Oh, John Shelton, who does a lot about Godzilla, and he was in the documentary that you were in earlier on.
Nice.
The one that I did, the recommendations one. So yeah, so we're all caught up in the chat, and that's really, really cool. But Bob, before we finish, because you know, I don't want to keep you for forever. Well, I do.
Well, and I don't want to keep you from your wife too. So,
Well,
stop cheating on her with me right now. So.
No. I don't. Let's not start any rumors. But yeah, the problem is I would talk about movies all night, and particularly knowing that we have such similar things in common. I was actually going to message you about maybe doing a watch party of Asylum at some point.
Oh my God, I would love that. I'll do any. Yeah, actually, I think if we could do like another episode, we could talk about anthology films.
Oh,
Like
that would be
that would be
cool.
great. That would be a great episode. We could just kind of like give our
Yeah.
top 5 or something, or just kind of talk, give an
That's
overall
perfect.
hour-long talk
Amicus,
about them.
yeah. Tygon, Amicus. Oh man, yeah, so good, so
Yeah.
good.
Oh, did you see
Oh,
before you leave? Did you get to see
thanks, Frank.
Jekyll yet, Dr. Jekyll?
No, I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen
You're
it.
in England. How do you not see it yet?
I don't, do you know what? I don't even know. Can you buy it? Can I? Because it's not on streaming, but
I think I rented it. I rented it on Amazon Prime or something.
Right. I think
for like
I was hoping it might come
$6.99
up on Shudder, but it hasn't. And then I get my little free. I don't know if you have this where you get like a 7-day free trial of them every couple of months. Yeah. Because I'm cheap. So let's have a look. Dr. J. Oh no, it's £14.99 on Amazon at the moment, and you can watch it on Prime. Oh no, it's not available to buy. Oh no, it is. No, is it or is it not?
Yeah,
no, it's not.
It was available to buy, but I just rented it because you don't know we didn't know what we're getting with that. So.
Yeah.
But if it does come out in physical media form, I will buy that. I enjoyed it that much. Like I didn't think it was great, but I really appreciated how it was done. And I was just like, all right, John Gore, show me what you got with this Hammer, buyout or whatever. I like, let's get into the Gothic stuff. Let's see what you got. So.
Yeah, and obviously we interviewed Laurie Brewster over at Amicus and what he's doing, and I'm really excited to see the first new Amicus film when that comes out. I was going to support that project just because they had a really cool Amicus baseball cap as one of the perks, but because I'm easily sold by hats. But,
right.
But
why didn't you get the beanie then? You should have gotten the beanie.
Well, I should have gone for the beanie. I don't know. I should have got a beanie. But the thing is, though, if I go for black, I've got a Springer Spaniel, and I just get white hair all over everything.
Oh, so you like shed. The only thing.
Yeah, this is why everything I wear is either grey or white. And the car, oh my word, the car is just a mess. Anyway. Anyway, we're going off topic a little bit.
Well, I mean, if it's not, if you could, if you feel like contributing again later on down the line, in a month or two, the perks aren't going anywhere, and you're not getting them until the end of next year. So,
right, yeah, I've got time to make up my mind on which hat.
Well, thank you. You're getting right now. Thank you. So,
it's all right, man. I did, and oh, that was it. Oh, that was good. Thanks.
No, I'll put up a thing when we're gonna get a couple more contributors, and the next few, and then I'm gonna put up another thing. I think you saw that. I put up the first 12 contributors and their names, so you'll be in the next set of people I give a shout out.
I was so close to being number 13 as well.
I know it was driving me nuts, honestly. Like I woke up this morning, I'm like, there has to be a 13th contributor by now, but
Saturday the 14th.
Yeah, it took forever, and then like somebody else that I knew became number 13. I was like,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mike's just said it was a great chat, and I appreciate your time, Bob. Thank you so much. We've got lots of people coming. Torgo's Taco, man. Yeah, I that's going to be my fan film. I'm going to make the next. They've already done Manos. Yeah, they've already done Manos Hands of Felt. They've already done the puppet version. But I think that was one of the first Kickstarters I ever did. VH September, of course.
September.
That's hard for me to say, but yeah, VHS will never die like 007.
No, VHS will never die. And I've kicked around the idea of doing Victim No More as a VHS, like a limited run. But I don't think I'm going to do that with that or Loose Ends. I mean, if we sell enough Blu-rays, then I'll be like, all right, we could put money towards making VHS as like a limited run and maybe do something special for that.
I do like that. However, sometimes, when I see them, the prices are ridiculous, like for a lot of them. So it would be cool to have.
Yeah, I don't want to, and I don't want to like you know, I want to do it right. Like I said, with the quality of our merch, we try to make as best as we can. I don't want to I want to find a really good VHS box company, and
I think I've got the badge
there's a
still.
couple of them.
I think. Well, I know I've got the badge. It's just I put it somewhere safe, and I can't get my fingers into. It's literally I keep it. It's on my desk, but I've got like a little pot here, and I can't get my fingers into the pot to get, get it out.
When you're one of the pins.
Yeah, the pin. You sent me a pin. Yeah, I was wearing it on my hat, but I put it in this pot so I didn't lose it, and now I can't get my hand in.
Yeah, we got some fun. Which I'm trying to design a couple of pins that be fun. There'll be a Megan pin, the Catherine Mary Stewart pin with her with the shotgun.
Oh, cool. Nice.
We already have like a Trish and Ginny pin from part 2 and part 4.
Ginny might be one of my favorite characters in the entire series. I think Ginny is so important to the storytelling of the series.
Yeah,
but I just think like without her, it would be very different.
You saw that video of me and Amy Steele walking around and tries to
the
guy dressed like
I did
to scare her.
I did. You were a really interesting person to see on social media, because like 1 minute you're there on the steps of the Exorcist house, and then you're in a convention.
Yeah, with my mom.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was so cool. I love it.
Yeah. Well, if you come here, we could do a little like road trip.
You have to show me around, man.
East Coast of, like...
Once I win the lottery, that's it. It'll be my first. That'll be my first.
Start an Indiegogo campaign to get you on vacation to come here.
Get Matt on the plane. He's like Mr. T. This guy won't get on a plane. Give him a glass of milk and knock him out.
Assignment: East Coast, United States. Like a Police Academy movie. Come on.
Yeah, we'll make a Police Academy 8 if you get me over to the US.
Oh my God! Yes.
Assignment New York.
That's it. But yeah, so. There was something I was going to mention real quick.
Is there anything you want to say before we go in terms of just for people reaching out, getting in touch? Obviously, the Indiegogo is the big thing.
That is the number one priority. For
they can find that on on your YouTube page as well.
Actually, you can find it. Yeah, you could find it on not on the YouTube page actually. I never thought of but I'll do a video soon saying like, hey, contribute to the campaign, please, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I'll share that out then. I'll share that out.
I'll do that on YouTube, like probably this week, because we also hit 100,000 views for Victim No More on YouTube. So I do want to do a video of it. But yesterday we did have a live YouTube show talking about the campaign, talking about the 100,000 views, the Blairstown event, everything. But it was probably my fault. I didn't promote it well, and it was too early in the morning where like, nobody was going to watch it. So I just kind of deleted it. And it was me and James Staffarelli who played Jason. But if you go to victimnomorefilm.com, it will be, that's the link right there. Press that link, brings you right to the campaign. So yes, please put that up anywhere you can. Post it on Friday 13th pages, on Facebook and Instagram and horror pages in general, and just share. Please, anybody watching, just share it as many places as you can of people that might have interest in contributing, whether it's $13 or $2,000. If they want to see a Friday 13th anthology film with twists and turns and cameos and things that that are completely unpredictable that you won't see coming, and it'll be a fun ride, then please, you're gonna have a good time. I promise you that. I
don't think there's anything I can add to that. I think that is absolutely perfect. There's always a way that I end our streams. If you stay on, we'll have a chat before once everyone's gone. But thank you so much to everyone who's been watching over on X, on Twitter, people who are watching on YouTube, and I finish my streams this way now, and I have done for a long while. So good night, everybody, and here we
Good night.
go.
And I'll tell you the links and stuff.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you.
Yeah.